The Racing Postcast in association with Paddy Power. They prize support UK and Irish racing the night before.
Hello, welcome along to the Racing Post Weekend Postcast. I'm Bruce Millington, and I know you're on tenterhooks. I'm about to announce the team for today's Postcast, and I know you're going to want the red-hot tips as we got. So David Jennings is on the team, that's great news. Brendan Duke from Paddy Power is on the team, and I'm afraid to say Paul Keeley is ill, so can't make it. Only joking, Keels is here and looking to maintain his fantastic red-hot sequence of winning tips. So we are going to get stuck into the Irish Oaks, which is the highest profile race of the weekend, if not the most competitive. What have we got? The Weatherby Super Sprint at Newbury, which is certainly competitive. Other decent stuff at Newbury, and also Jumps fans. We've got two really good races at Market Raisin, and there's even some decent Sunday fare to boot. So we're going to get stuck straight in with the Irish Oaks, and we will start off with a word from Hugo Palmer, who is trying to topple the red-hot favourite Evensong with his Oaks second Architecture.
She took a little bit of time to come back to herself after Ascot. Everything went against her there. She was drawn very badly and got a long way back and wide in a race that just wasn't run to suit. And she was only beaten 5 lengths, and she was beaten 2 lengths by Minding, or nearly 2 lengths. We've all seen what Minding's done since, and will run We Are 90 in the race as well.
And how is We Are 90 ahead of the race?
Yeah, she's great. She's great. Michael Hills rode her a piece of work the other morning, very happy with her. She's moving beautifully. She was even closer in the Ribblesdale. She's only beaten 3 lengths by Evensong. She's a listed winner. It'd be lovely if she get some Group 1 form under her name, and God, it'd be dream to have a dead heat.
Remiss of me to mention, of course, that Hugo is double-handed. And Brendan Duke, how do Paddy Power bet on the Irish Oaks? I guess it's all about Evensong, isn't it?
It is 8-11, 11-2 Architecture, 6-1 Ashman Princess, 10-1 Turret Rocks, 14-1 Harlequin, 16's We Are 90 and Pretty Perfect, and a Pony Bar.
Does the race do anything for you, Brendan, from a betting perspective?
Not particularly. I think Evensong will win. I might have a few quid on Harlequin betting without.
Okay. You haven't got any betting without yet, but I'm sure we will have tomorrow, won't we?
We certainly will, yeah. In fact, it'll probably be up tonight.
And what's the clue with Harlequin?
Well, I just think she's a slow learner. She'll have to improve again, but I'd expect her to improve again. And I'm not sure that she's that far behind the fillies, who are around 6-1 mark. So take a chance on her at the price.
Okay, Kills, before we get your Irish Oaks views, hopefully you did absolutely chop it off last week, did you? And make loads and loads of money?
Yeah, a few quid. Not as much as you, though, mate.
Well, it wasn't bad, but yeah, it was that partly through your wisdom, but mainly due to my devotion to Mr. Rafe Beckett, King Rafe, who came good last week, and it was.
We had 6 winners.
5 winners. Yeah, I wish you had 6. I must admit, you wouldn't have seen me here today, mate. I'd have been doing this from the Bahamas, but it was still a great weekend, and hopefully, like I say, we've had loads of people on Twitter telling us how much they won on your tips last week. So, I guess, Paul, the Irish Oaks isn't going to be the main kind of weapon this week for your betting, is it? Or are you suggesting we'll just remortgage the house and have it all on Evensong?
I mean, I don't bet odds on, but I mean, I backed her for this before the Ribblesdale, so I'm in quite a nice position there.
What price did you get?
I got a little bit of 12s and a fair bit more at 6s. So
you can do no wrong, can you?
Hoping that it will come through, but I think it's the first time in 30 years as a punter I've backed a horse anti-post and it's gone off odds on. So
really?
It just doesn't happen. I certainly can't remember one. So what can go wrong?
Well, you tell me. That's what we want to know.
Hopefully nothing. I mean, she won the Ribblesdale. If you look back at that Ribblesdale, she won it hands and heels. I mean, he just kept her up to her work. It was a fairly slow run race, and she's probably a real stayer who wants a stronger pace. And if she gets one, I'd imagine she'd be better than these. I mean, you could argue that Architecture is the form horse on that second in the Oaks. I mean, I think Racing Post ratings on the Bear ratings have her £7 clear. I mean, obviously she didn't run to her form at Ascot. If she comes back to that Oaks form, she's got a big chance. But I do have a feeling that that's still a suspect race, that Oaks, because obviously Minding got in loads of trouble. I'm not convinced that Minding truly stayed a mile and a half either.
I heard a rumour last night in Leopardstown that Minding's going to run in the King George, by the way.
Oh,
Really?
don't say that.
Why?
Because I've backed for the Nassau.
Oh,
Why would they do that?
Well, what have they got to run in it? The only time they run fillies in main races when they haven't got a colt, and they probably haven't got a colt, so it might not be.
But should they can run the horse that goes the Globetrotter.
Found.
No, Highland Reel.
Highland Reel.
Highland Reel's
He'd be grand. He'd be grand. He'd put up a good show, won't he?
Well, that's all I'm hearing. I'm not saying it's going to be right, but
well, no, it could be interesting. But I mean, obviously she stayed well enough to win an Oaks, but I don't think that was anywhere near her best form. And obviously they decided not to come here. They dropped back to 1 mile 2 for the Pretty Polly. So, I think that form's a little bit suspect, and I can't see anything else to be frightened of. Like I said, Ajman Princess was second at Ascot, but even Song, it was just hands and heels. He was always going to win from turning into the straight.
All right, so it's going to be a race where the focus is going to be on betting without the fav, and who should punters be looking at in that instance, Paul?
Again,
I never call you Paul.
Yeah, no, what's all that about?
Sorry,
yeah. Sorry, you said throwing me off my stride, looking round for someone. I think, and I see where Brendan's coming from with Harlequin, because I backed her in the Oaks. Little bit worried about whether she truly stays as well, to be honest. Ajman Princess just keeps running solid races. You ain't going to get much of a price without the fav to be one of the favourites, but she'll run a race, I'd have thought.
Okay. David, you've been very quiet so far. I'm sure that's about to change. It was lovely to see you last night. And you're a lovely young lady. It was a real delight to meet Aoife. That was a real pleasure.
Yeah, she doesn't look like that in the mornings, though, Bruce. She put a bit of effort in there last night, so she did.
Well, my first conclusion, what the hell is she doing with you? I mean, you're definitely punching above your weight there. But no, that was a very pleasant...
And you know my weight.
Absolutely, mate. Right, listen, Irish Oaks, what have you got to say for yourself?
Yeah, a couple of things here. I suppose the thing that interests me most is the fact that obviously Aidan could have ran Minding in this, but it was never part of the plan whatsoever. I rang him, I think, the week before last just to see what the plans were, and even back then it was, even song for the Irish Oaks and Minding for the Nassau. And the one thing he did say was he still thinks that there's lots more improvement to come from Even Song. As he said, it was only her second run of the season in the Ribblesdale. It was only the fourth run of her whole life. And as Paul said, it was a length and a half. That doesn't do her superiority justice at all. At no stage, if you backed Even Song that day, who was very well backed, I think from 3s into 15 to 8, at no stage watching the race, if you backed Even Song that day, did you think you were going to be beaten? It was far more comfortable than a length and a half. We've seen time and time again Aidan O'Brien with these fillies. He's just fantastic when he gets them to improve, and I think she has, by the sound of things, has come on again since Ascot, and I think she'd be very hard to beat. As for betting without, I can't wait to see what price Turret Rocks is without, because finally she gets her ground. Forget about the run. You'll see she's beaten 52 lengths at Epsom. Forget about it. She just cannot handle any cut in the ground whatsoever. I thought she ran quite well behind Minding in the English Guineas. Her form last season is quite good behind Ballydoyle in the Marcel Boussac. She's a Group 2 winning juvenile. I think she just wants better ground. Jim's horses are finally coming back into form. He's had a cracking last 2 weeks. He's throwing out winners left, right and centre. The fact that the ground is better, the fact that his team are in better form, I think Turret Rocks will be the main danger to Even Song. I'm hoping she'll be about 6 to 1, maybe 13 to 2 without. But I just can't see her beating Even Song. That'll be my 1-2, Bruce.
Okay, and Brendan, last word on the race. Is this... She's 8 to 11 now, the Jolly. Is this one of those ones where you're going to start going into battle with each other tonight just before you have to release your prices for the adverts, and we might see some 4 to 5, bit of 10 to 11 maybe, or do you think she'll be solid?
I suspect she'll be solid. We haven't sat down and had a powwow about it, but just from generally talking to the lads, I don't think anyone can really see her getting beaten. So we won't. I mean, she was. I think when we were talking on Monday, she was 4 to 9 or something, was she? And then of course the Ajman has come in, and there's more runners than we thought. So it's just a function of that. But I doubt we'd be mad keen to get after her.
Okay, 2 really good supporting races at the Curragh on Saturday at 4:05. It's the Sapphire Stakes. And a real puzzle for punters here, because Mecca's Angel obviously ran so badly at Royal Ascot, but if in her best form, she's likely to be too good for these. Kills, what do you make of this race?
Yeah, a couple of sprinters running tomorrow who ran really badly at Ascot, but are clearly the best on form. She's one of them. We got the Tin Man later on, the newbie as well. You've got to forgive her that. To back her at any sort of price, because that was really bad. Sprinters do occasionally run the odd bad race.
I can't remember, did he proffer any sort of excuse?
No, I'm not sure what it was, but they said the ground was too soft. I mean, she's supposed to be a soft ground filly. It just sounded like, no idea, basically. And we were at Sandown a couple of weeks ago when Brando won. If he'd have held on to him for more longer, he would have won by 5 lengths. I mean, he looked really, really good. They went home miles too soon. So he's got a real bit of opposition in the shape of Brando. He probably is a Group 1 sprinter in the maker and on the way up, and no question marks against him. So I don't know how they're going to bet, but I'd be backing Brando against Mecca's Angel on this occasion.
Okay, DJ.
Yeah, I probably would too, to be honest. I don't think the Irish are up to it. Fortaloro, rated 105, plenty of improvement to find. Soul Power, Pat Smullen, an interesting booking for Soul Power. I don't think he's ever ridden him before. Phenomenal sprinter, one of the best of all time, but I just don't think he's the force of old. But it will be some scenes in the curve Soul Power bounce back. But I just thought Brando, if you go through them all, I think Brando's the one who's probably on an upward curve, whereas the rest of them I think maybe had their peak before now. Very disappointed with Mecca's Angel the last day. Yeah, Brando, I just can't get over how well it travelled at Sandown. It was unbelievable to watch. Like Paul, I think you could get a bit of value when the betting opens up originally in the morning or tonight, and I think they'll get closer together as the Brando and Mecca's Angel as the race goes closer. I don't think there'll be much between them in the betting come the off.
2 votes for Brando, 3 for Brando, Brendan?
Well, I don't know. It's almost more interesting as a betting heat, the way the lads are talking. I think there is a chance that Brando goes off Fav here. And if Mecca's Angel isn't Fav, I'll be backing her.
Will you?
Yeah, I mean...
she could get over your 2-1 threshold there, couldn't she?
Yes, I expect she will because the Soul Power would have a squeak. Yeah, I'd say if she's not favoured, she'd be over 2-1.
Okay,
but I backed Brando the last day. I don't know. It's interesting. Paul says he went for home. It was a very strange race to watch because
it was because he was looking around for non-existent dangers, and then all of a sudden some very existent dangers turned up.
It was a serene, almost Buddhist experience for 4.5 furlongs, and then he's completely fallen in. So maybe Paul is right. He has just gone for home too soon, but. I don't know. I think Mecca should be Fav, and if she's not, I'll back her.
I can't see that entering racing's lexicon anytime soon. You travelled Buddhistly 2 out.
No, for punters. I was just watching it going, this is home. This is going to win 5 lengths, and then he fell in.
There you go, 440, the Anglesey Stakes, and an intriguing contest for sure. We've got the old Psychedelic Funk, who ran a really good race to be 3rd in the Cov. Peace Envoy from the O'Brien stable, and JSB has got Radio Silence. They're liable to dominate the betting. Will they dominate the race kills?
Yeah, you'd imagine so. One of them will win. Psychedelic Funk was 3rd in the Coventry, beaten nearly 5 lengths though. I mean, that's a fair way. I don't know whether it'd prefer a bit faster ground or not. Maybe some of the guys could tell me that, but I probably just about prefer Peace Envoy. He was 2nd in the Railway last time. I think that was probably a fair race. He's improved with every start. Don't know enough about Radio Silence. Perhaps Dave can fill us in.
Fill us in.
If Psychedelic Funk wins this race, lads, that's simple as, because I think that Psychedelic Funk is in a different league to Medicine Jack. Same stable, same owner, same jockey from the Railway Stakes, and Peace Envoy couldn't beat Medicine Jack. Radio Silence was well back that day in that Lepersen Maiden. There was only a couple of runners in the end. Don't think it was a particularly good race, to be honest with you. He was quite impressive. Like the 3rd horse had won a maiden, a filly, a Ger Lyons had won a maiden at Fairyhouse. The 2nd horse was well beaten in a poor maiden, where the 2nd has been beaten since at Lepersen. I just think it was a poor race. While he was well backed and obviously been shown plenty, like Psychedelic Funk has rock solid form. He really does. I thought he ran really well in the Coventry. The 2 horses that beat him, obviously the form has been franked since by the runner-up, who won the July Stakes. I just think this horse wins. I'm just praying it'll be even money or over.
If he is, you're going to really lump on.
Well, unfortunately, I don't have the funds that
it's payday
your 2 colleagues. Huh?
It's payday today.
It is actually, yeah, it is.
Well, there you
go. I think he'll win. I do.
Okay, fine. Right, well, that's Curragh done and dusted. Let's get stuck into Newbury.
Here's Paddy Power's latest horse racing offer. It's money back as a free bet if your horse finishes 2nd to the SP Fav at 1 meeting every day this month. Paddy Power, you're welcome. Max free bet £25, 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly.
Okay, welcome back. The big race of the day in Britain at 4:10 at Newbury is the Wetherby Super Sprint. If this was being run last Saturday when all that top quality action was going, it would have been about the 15th most important race. So they need to sort that out in fixtures because it is not good enough, with all due respect to Weatherby's and the race itself, for a sales race to be the flagship event in England on a summer Saturday. But it is an intriguing puzzle for sure. a wide open event as you would expect. We do, however, have a clearish favourite, don't we, Brendan?
We do.
What's happened? Your computer frozen?
This is unbelievable. Content blocked by your organisation. The WebSense category is filtered. What? It won't let me access gambling sites.
Oh, walk out, mate. Walk out.
I think you might have been sacked there, mate. That sounds like a clear clue that the IT people have put a new firewall in for you.
I only come in here to steal stationery and back horses. So I mean, this is absolutely. I don't know what she's 4-1 favourite, that filly of Dog Leashes, but I can't remember any of the other. David Jennings usually steps in here to save
Here
the day.
we go, 4-1 Clem Fandango. Just going down the line here. Miss Danvers is 8-1. Spiritual Lady is 9-1. Lucky Mistake is 9-1.
Lady in Question is 9-1.
Lady in Question is 9-1, and My Fancy 6 Strings is 10-1.
And it's 16's bar. There you go, Brendan.
Thank you, David. Thanks, lads.
Anytime.
Right, well, David, you sound like you've got a fairly clear view on the race. Elaborate on what you just said.
I do. Well, Richard Fahey and Tony Hamilton won the race last year, and I think they'll win it this year. I loved the run of 6 Strings first time out. It was beaten by Hyper Focus of Hugo Palmer's. But watching the race, I thought the whole way through 6 Strings was going to win, and then Hyper Focus kind of leaned across him on the track, and it was one of them races where you're kind of going, God, the second horse is definitely the best horse there, and the Hyper Focus is not too bad. Loved the way it travelled. I know it's only a maiden going into a super sprint, and it's only ran once, but I thought it looked a pretty decent animal that day at Newcastle. Looks to have plenty of speed. Was well back that day, so I'd say they think a fair bit of it. So I'm going to side with 6 Strings.
Okay, Kills, you were pretty lukewarm about this in your weekend column. And by the way, I thought the graphics desk did a right job on you on the front page, didn't they? They did you up as a wizard, but you look more like David Ashford.
That's slightly well. I look like my younger brother who's got a great big bushy beard. Like,
really?
I thought, Christ, that's my brother. But
has he got a white beard?
No, it's not white. But
you used to have a full beard, didn't you? Way before they became trendy. You were about 13, weren't you?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, between 13.
Can you
and
go
17.
for it? Can you grow another beard?
No, the missus won't let me.
Why?
She hates it.
Really?
Won't let me get near her then.
Oh.
Not that she does that often.
Not without its advantages then. Okay, anyway, what's your view on this? Have you formed one yet?
Right, yeah, well, I mean, if Clem Fandango was 4-1 favourite, then Simi is too big at around 16-1 because he was only like 3/4 of a length behind her at Royal Ascot. She's carrying 8 stone, another one down the bottom of the weights. I think 8 of the last 9 runnings of this have been won by a horse drawn 15 or lower, so really high. It's probably not good on the stats. Yeah, I think Simi's a little bit in and out, but she's got that one decent run that makes her far shorter than that. And I think she might prefer a bit of decent ground, but she hasn't really had yet. I can see where he's coming from with 6 Strings. Spiritual Lady, who's just maybe drawn a little bit too high. That one in a fair time, first time out, and was being prepared for the Queen Mary. Had a little setback. So although Irwin Inform came at 6 furlongs, she'll be fine at 5. But it's a guess race. It's a very, very small bet race for me, and there are far better betting heats today.
Okay.
300 quid.
Well, yeah, no. Yeah, you. Where are you tomorrow, Kills?
I'll probably just be at home, since then I've got control of the TV and switching between that and the golf as long as.
So won't be drunk and
as long as Mickelson hasn't ruined it by then. No, I won't be drinking tomorrow.
Okay, fine. Right, Brendan Duke, would you like to have a guess and a small bet on this race or not?
No, too hard for me, I'm afraid, Bruce. Too many variables.
Excellent. Okay, fine. Right, well, let's look at probably the best race on the undercard. It's the Group 3 Hackwood Stakes at Newbury. Takes place at 3:35. And Keels, I'm pretty sure you're confident about who's going to win this, aren't you?
Reasonably confident. I mean, again, it's another horse you've got to forgive a bad run because the Tin Man was only 8th at Ascot in the Commonwealth. That was nowhere near his form, and he did it once last year before bouncing back and bolting up the next time. So hopefully that's just a blip. I mean, he was only
Diamond
8th
Jubilee,
of 9.
wasn't it? Not the Commonwealth.
Sorry, the Diamond Jubilee. Yeah, he
did have a bit of a rough passage though, didn't he?
Well, he made his own rough passage though. I mean, he was very, very free. He just never seemed to be right for me. First time up at Windsor, he absolutely hacked up by 2 lengths with the trainer, thinking he was underdone. So maybe he was overdone at Ascot, but it wasn't his run. I'll forgive him that. And he's better than Lees unless Charming Thought bounces back. I can see why there has been money for Charming Thought because that was a fair first run for a year and a half. He won the Middle Park as a 2-year-old. He's probably the danger, but I think the Tin Man should win.
Brendan Duke, how did Paddy Power bet on the Hackwood?
Over to you, David Jennings.
Oh, really? Is that it now? You're not giving any more prices out, no?
The content has been blocked by my organisation.
Okay, right. I'm going to be the PR man today. Then. Right.
Thank you very
Paddy
much.
Power bet 5-2. The Tin Man 4-1. Charming Thought 9-2. Ibn Malik 15-2. Illuminate 8-1. Mr. Lumpton 10-1. Brings in Watchable Buratino and 14-1. Bart. There you go, ITV. Come and get me. Right. Who do you fancy, Brendan?
I'd take a chance on Charming Thought. I think that's good form, that Salisbury form, and Appleby's very good with them off a break actually, but that was a long break, so I could see him coming forward for that run. I'd take a chance on him.
Kills fancies the Tin Man. Brendan Duke fancies Charming Thought. David Jennings fancies
Charming Thought. I think if he doesn't bounce Dewhurst winner in 2014, I think he returned from the best part of 2 years off the last day. Thought it ran really well. I just can't believe Paul is getting away without us slagging him over Buratino, who he's been shiting on about for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, sometimes you got to give up and admit you're wrong, haven't you? I tried to get away with it, but you picked me up with it, you bastard. Yeah, no, he was no good whatsoever, was he, at Newcastle? I mean, maybe fast ground at Newbury would see the better of him, but I mean, there didn't look to be an awful lot to be.
That was one of them days where I actually didn't really fancy the horse, and you were so sweet, and I said, look, I'm going to have to back this because you were so sweet in it, but never
This
again.
is the bloke who spent a year telling us all about Kit and Rock, digging you out for being wrong on one horse. Absolutely outrageous. Okay, and I think that'll do for Newbury. Has anyone else got anything they want to say?
There's a good listed race there tomorrow with GM Hopkins at the top, and Scottish, who's a very short price, 5-4 with Paddy Power, third in the Brigadier Gerard, but beaten nearly 5 lengths. I'm going to have a little bet on Sparkplug, I think, around about the 7-1 mark. Finished second to Arad last time, up to 10 furlongs for the first time in a while. And has got some very, very good form at Newbury. Finished second in the Spring Cup last year and then beat GM Hopkins, giving him weight, both over a mile. I think Fast Ground and Newbury, I think he'll run well.
Okay, 8 runners as well, so maybe some each way action. Right, let's have a quick break and then come back and look at Market Raisin's 2 big TV contests.
Here's Paddy Power's latest horse racing offer. It's money back as a free bet if your horse finishes second to the SP Fav at one meeting every day this month. Paddy Power, you're welcome. Max free bet £25, 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly.
Welcome back to the Racing Post Weekend Postcast. I'm Bruce Millington and I'm joined by my Racing Post colleagues Paul Keeley and David Jennings, and we've also got Paddy Power's Brendan Duke. Right, we've looked at the Cairo, we've looked at Newbury. Let's look at Market Raisin. 2 nice contests for the Jumps fans to get stuck into. At 2:15, the Betfred TV Summer Handicap Hurdle and Paddy Power bet. 4 Guafa, 4 Mobate, 13-2 Hassel, 15-2 Red Tomato, 8 Curious Carlos, 12-1 Bar. Paul Keeley, who'd you like?
Yeah, I like Hassel. It's quite interesting. Guafa's the favourite 4-1. Hassel would be giving Guafa weight if it was a flat race, but he's getting 20-odd pound off him in a hurdle race. Obvious reasons. Guafa's done his bit over hurdles. He won the Swinton and won it in good style. But Hassel seems to have been sort of transformed by Richard Newland since he went over hurdles for him. He's won his 2 starts and he's won very easily both times. Latest one under Charlie Hammond, who takes £10 off his back as well. If he can get over the hurdles without too much mishap, he's got to go very, very close because the natural talent is there.
Okay. Right, David, have you had a look at this one?
I have never backed the winner of this race ever, and I'm not even going to try and start now. I hate the race.
Okay, Brendan?
No, I'm afraid, Bruce, summer jumping like the past is a foreign country to me.
These are the 2 best punting races of Saturday.
Okay, well, we'll stick with you then, Kill. We'll stick with you.
I can't believe it. What's going on with you?
I fancy one in the plane.
Oh, you do? Well,
all right,
okay.
well, we'll come to that. And that's at 2:45, so we'll deal with that now, and it's wide open. Paddy Power bet. 6-1 Thean Val, 6-1 Long Hall House, 8-1 Ballynagur, 8-1 Henryville, 8-1 how do you say that?
Cernanos, that'll do.
All right, 9 Golden Doyen, 10. Oh, they're all getting too hard to pronounce. I'm rubbish at that. Right, Kills, who wins it?
Well, I must have been asleep, Brendan, when you were 14-1 Cernanos. Well, when did that happen? I've not seen anywhere near that price. That was a massive price. No wonder you're down to 8. Yeah, Cernanos is the one for me. You can completely ignore his run at Aintree on Grand National Day because he was up to 3 mile 1 for the first time on soft ground. No good to him whatsoever. 2 previous starts, he finished second, 2.5 mile, goodish ground. Got beat 5 lengths and 7 lengths each time, but by horses that were phenomenally well handicapped. give you an example. The winner, Portway Flow, of his penultimate run was running off 115. He went up £11, got beat ahead next time off £11 higher, and got put up another 6. The third, Ballybowley, went up a stone for winning by 8 lengths next time, and in between the two of them was Sanunos, who's only gone up £3. This is his ground. This is his trip. This is the bet of the day.
All right, brilliant. What about you then, David?
Follow that. I was actually fancying Golden Diane, because I think he's ran quite. He was beaten the last day of Party Rock, who's disappointed since, but he absolutely clattered the last. And for a long way in that race, he actually traded quite short and running. And before that, on his last visit to Market Racing, he put it up to Fox Norton in a pretty good novice chase. I think the actual track, I know he's been beaten twice there, but I think the track suits him. Like Pano Shakala was miles behind him that day behind Fox Norton. I think the track suits him. I think this is the type of the race that suits him. I don't think he's a graded horse over fence. He's rated 135. He'll be up there throughout. But now I'm very, very worried because Paul seems to think that whatever that horse is called is a certainty. So my stake has been reduced.
No, stick to your guns. Kills' golden run must end soon. And Brennan, you're still opting out on this one, are you?
Well, I wasn't even going to watch the race, but now I'll be betting on it because I'll have to spin up some of last week's winnings on that Cernanos thing.
Jolly good. OK, right, let's get today's best bets. Take it away, Steve Palmer.
This will not be beaten. This will not be
This is the live version, by the way, that he did for the Open Postcast this week.
This will not be beaten. This will not be beaten.
What do you reckon? Do you like that? Should we stick with that, or should we revert back to the old one, Brendan?
Just keep getting him on. Get him on every week. Not just that golf podcast was a triumph. Get him on for everything. I'm sure he's got something to say about every sport.
He hasn't. He couldn't know less about horse racing.
Oh,
He's
right,
absolutely desperate. Right,
I wonder if he's feeling threatened by Johnny Ward now, is he?
Why? Johnny Ward after him? Does he owe him money or something?
No, because he stood in for him.
Yes, Johnny Ward's leaving, so he's not...
No, I know, but I'm just saying he did such a good job.
No,
did a fine job.
He always does a fine job. He's a professional. He doesn't worry about Johnny come lately. He's like Johnny Ward. Don't worry about that. Right, Kills, best bet of Saturday.
Yeah, Sanunos, 245 Market Racing.
For the reasons stated earlier. Brendan Duke, your bet of the day.
There's a 1.5 handicap in the Curragh, and there's a horse of Brian Ellison's running called Suitor. First run for Ellison was over 10 furlongs in Newcastle, needed every yard of it. Steps up in trip here, that'll suit. The ground should be fine, it's yielding, but...
Nina booked.
Story checks out, so this wins.
OK.
There we go, 620, that is Curragh.
Thank you very much, Paul. And David Jennings.
I'd be shocked if Psychedelic Funk didn't win.
Didn't win what? You've got to say the name.
Sorry, dangerously. 4:40 Curragh Saturday, Psychedelic Funk.
OK, and we've got work experience Abby in the studio with us today. And Abby, the best bet of Saturday is...
Cornborough.
In the 2:15 at Market Racing. OK, well done. Thank you very much, Abby. We'll take a quick break and we'll have a look at the Irish action on Sunday.
Here's Paddy Power's latest horse racing offer. It's money back as a free bet if your horse finishes second to the SP Fav at one meeting every day this month. Paddy Power, you're welcome. Max free bet £25, 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly.
OK, so at Ireland on Sunday, we've got 2 decent races. Keels, you're going to completely opt out of it, aren't you? You're not remotely interested.
Yeah, absolutely not remotely. It's the final round of the Open. That's what I'll be watching.
Who have you backed in the Open?
Patrick Reed is the only one that's up there at the moment. He's about to start, so...
Yeah, well, at time of recording this, Phil Mickelson was, love him though we all do, annoyingly winning by half the track. So you never know, it might be all over and you might have to re-engage with Sunday racing, in which case David Jennings and Brendan Duke are going to help us out with the 2 big races at the Curragh. Like I say, the 305 is the Minstrel Stakes. And David Jennings, you can go first. Who's going to win this one?
It's tricky. It's very tricky. I will probably just about side with Toscanini, who I basically own at this stage, but he won the last day when I didn't back it. He's just the most frustrating horse you could ever imagine. He actually battled the last day. I couldn't believe it. He actually battled when Flight Risk came up beside him. I actually think the more I get to see him, the more I think he actually wants 7. I think he's just about, at this stage, the best horse in the race, and he'll probably just about win, but knowing my luck with Toscanini, he'll probably just be beating a short head in the line.
Brendan Duke?
Oh, I'll chance Sovereign Dead. As David says, it's tricky, but I mean, Sovereign Dead he's taken over from Lucida for this Wily Coyote award for horses. I mean, how Holland got beaten on the last day in Chester.
That was a shocker. Yeah.
It was. All he had to do was go outside, and he was going that way.
It was like a carbon copy of that all-weather race a few years ago. Do you remember?
Yeah, it was just an incredibly brainless ride. But
Still
anyway,
almost got out of trouble and won, though, didn't it? It was an incredible performance, wasn't it?
And he's such a reliable horse, and he'll run his race, and hopefully he'll get a good ride tomorrow, and he might just be good enough.
Righty-ho, and the 4:15 on Sunday at the Curragh is the Kilboy Estate Stakes, and David Jennings, the horse that passes the line in front, will be called...
God.
How are we going to write that on the betting
I don't
slip?
know how Desi is going to pronounce that one. But there's 14 runners. I can never remember as big a field in this race. Can you, Brendan?
No.
It's a strange... This usually has 4 or 5 runners,
yeah.
and it's usually an odds-on favourite.
The question wasn't what do you make of the field size. It was who's going to win it.
Yeah, I was trying to disguise the fact that I don't really fancy anything. Devonshire is a horse I like. I think that if there is a bit of cut in the ground, has a chance. Lady of Dubai has been very disappointing, but I still think she's a decent filly when things fall into place. I thought she hit the front too soon the last day at York. She ran quite well at the Curragh last year behind Ribbons. I think she's better than she's shown. I might chance Lady of Dubai. I like Devonshire, but I might chance Lady of Dubai.
Okay, Brendan, do you have a firm view on this race?
Certainly not. Very hard to have a firm view. Well, I mean, Filly Stakes race...
This could be 4 to 1 the field, I'd say.
Yes, precisely. Thank you, David. Filly Stakes races should all be called caveat emptor stakes anyway, because they're tricky, but this is particularly tricky. But if the ground dries out between this and Sunday, it's fierce changeable, the weather, but if it did, could be Lucida's day.
Lucida.
Oh God, no, she's gone at the game. She's
not gone at the game. She just hasn't had her ground.
One last chance. Okay, right, weekend plans, Kills. What are you most looking forward to this weekend?
Watching the golf.
Is there any chance your mouth and the microphone could be more than 2 metres
I'll be watching
apart?
the golf and probably playing cards on Sunday evening.
Oh, really? Do you have Sunday night cards school, dear?
Yeah, can do, yeah.
Really?
Poker.
Yeah.
Blimey.
Not very good at it.
Aren't you? What, cards? Of course you are.
Well, I used to be, but I drink too much now and I just start getting stupid.
Oh, my God. I might come round and give you a lesson.
Give me your money, that would be
Oh, yeah,
You're probably like me, Paul. You just want to play every hand like I do.
No, I'm really controlled until the drink takes over.
And David, are you working this weekend?
I am working Sunday, but I have a wedding tomorrow. One of my bloody 19 weddings this year.
Really? Is it a family one or friends?
No, one of the lads, yeah. In the Knightsbrook Hotel in Trim.
Oh, lovely. That'll be nice. You taking Aoife?
I am taking Aoife, yeah.
What
yeah,
price are you to dance?
Oh, I'm one of these people at a wedding. I don't give a shit what people think, so I just get up and dance. I'm desperate, and I only have one move where I click my fingers, so I just do that over and over again.
Do you? Oh, excellent.
Drop my shoulder and click my fingers.
Blimey. Are you a good dancer, Brendan?
No, I have no rhythm. But I did go for dance lessons once. There's no 4 and 8. You have to go 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. I could never get a like. What's wrong with 4 and 8? I think it's a Spanish thing.
So dancing and driving are 2 things that you tried, had lessons, and were useless at both.
Yeah.
Has the rota been kind to you this weekend?
Certainly has. I'll be in the car tomorrow.
Jolly good. Okay, well, listen, have a lovely weekend, everyone. I hope we've managed to give you some winners over the course of the last half an hour. Do join us on Monday when Tom Siegel will be among the guests looking back at what we've seen this weekend and ahead to the King George at Ascot next Saturday.
The Racing Postcast in association with Paddy Power. They stream all UK and Irish racing live on your mobile, tablet or PC.